If you thought just the super job was all you'd get for diving into these ruins, you'd be dead wrong. There's actually another set to still explore, which means one more excavation is in order. What's the prize? The final power unit for Dyke Beck, number 19. This obviously being the most challenging to get, here's what you have to do. First of all, before we go on, I should probably address this first. The only time you'll be able to take this next trek into the ruins, the different set of ruins here, which is the East Shrine, I believe, is after, and only after, you're able to finish off the super job from the Deep Sea Shrine. And that also includes collecting the bounty. Once you do that, go back to Yagos Isle and hop back on the submarine. You'll notice that there's been a change in plans on how the submarine works. No longer will you ever have to do that little minigame just to make your way into the shrine. You'll get a choice as to which set of ruins you want to go to, and you'll just instantly go there, no problem. Now, once you're in there, obviously this being Dyke Beck's territory, he needs to come in. This is for his power unit, so he needs to be a part of this. As for the rest, well, for one, I'd consider taking a pretty good healer, so either Lisa or Shantae will do. As for the rest of the party, whatever's best. Whatever heavy hitting you got. Ark especially helpful for his weak enemy ability, obviously. So pick who you wish, and you'll notice that the west gate is locked, but can only be opened by Dyke Beck the Almighty, as he puts it. Calling Ark weak. Only Dyke Beck the Almighty can come through this door. Please. I mean, I know Dyke Beck's a tough little robot, but he's not that tough. He's not that great. So, making your way inside comes the first trek of battles that you have to deal with. Now, what you want to refrain from doing, at least for the first couple of battles, try not to, under any circumstances, well, one, have Dyke Beck take too much damage. Two, use little to no MP. I prefer if you didn't use any of his abilities at all for this fight, especially. Let everybody else handle that, and you'll see why within a matter of time as to why you shouldn't. Because Dyke Beck is going to become real important soon enough. So anyway, to start things off with this battle, one good idea would be to try to buff up your party, whether it be consisting of get higher magic, higher defense, whatever buff abilities you have, and let them come to you. I do this because I like to try to get them all grouped around before I can unleash the mighty wrath that is weak enemy on them, and then really go to town with them. Excuse me, just drinking a little bit of Dr. Pepper here. So yeah, I bring Toshu, I bring Sonya for her both her black magic ability and status changing effects, and the fact that I have transfer as well, which that's always to come in handy for in case emergency healing is needed. So yeah, the monsters here, if you played through, well, of course you would have had to go through the other set of the Deep Sea Shrine, the other set of ruins for the super job. Yeah, the enemies here still range up in the hundreds. I think it's like between 110 and 120 with these guys. So again, I say, before even attempting this area, you better make sure you have a damn good party and they are high enough level, because otherwise you're going to get wiped quick. Take this for example. The guy's got a little bit cheap. Next thing you know, Ark's dead. And my healer is about to die. Joy. Don't worry though, I'll bring Ark back soon enough. I got resurrection. That's why I usually prefer to bring Shantae sometimes over Lisa, because Shantae's got more healing spells than Lisa does. Obviously Toshu, you know why I'd bring him sometimes. I mean, that's a dead given. Oh, another thing I should probably remind you. Another good idea to equip on Dyke Beck, if you have found it, it's really helpful. If you found the Dyke gun, or Dyke G, since that is the only weapon Dyke Beck can equip that allows him to shoot from long distance, without fear of repercussion of being countered, unless the enemy also has long range, being the only exception. Yeah, I know I'm doing a pretty crappy job of trying to protect Dyke. Oh boy. And I'm at Dyke Beck, or Dick. I think... Is it Dyke Beck or Dyke Beck? I always called him Dyke Beck. I always thought it was Dyke. I think that's the right way to say it. Anyways, moving along. Finally, I get about most of them caught with the weak enemy ability. So now we're free to go to town with these guys if they don't, as long as they don't stop blocking or freaking attacks like crazy. And it's just like I said, that's one of the things I hate about these guys when it comes to trying to do like physical attacks and such. They love to block and dodge all the time, even if their back is turned to you. Sometimes it doesn't make much of a difference. I probably shouldn't have done that, but I like to have him. I mean, even though I'm not having him use magic or anything, I like to have him, pull his own weight around here in these fights. Okay, let's get this Golem and weaken him. Jesus Christ. Yeah, you're probably going to be, especially if you don't have, if you choose not to take arc for this dungeon area, and having to deal with the full force of these guys, you're very likely going to be doing a lot of healing, possibly once every single turn, maybe even twice if you have Sonya and if it gets really gets that bad. Tell you one thing though, they do provide some pretty good level ups. I don't know if I call this a good grinding area. I suppose you could if you want, but it's going to be a bit of a struggle here. Oh, freaking jump. Yeah, I really detest that. Like, a lot. It's really likes to drag things out if you can't really move. Like Ark, for example, he can't even move anymore. I was gonna have him hop over a couple of people. Well, even if I didn't have low jump, he probably wouldn't have been able to move anyway. Would he? Yeah, I'm probably losing a little bit too much MP on Ark's part. Yeah, it should be fine though. This battle's almost over. I am hoping, like, eventually that I know as much as I've used Dyke Beck, I know he sometimes has a hard time hitting his targets. I mean, never mind if they're high level or anything like that. It's just that, I don't know, it sometimes feels like he has a low hit rate, but maybe it's just because he's not as well experienced with guns, or the weapon I have equipped. But I mean, I've used it quite a bit, so his level should be that low. But then again, he's got all these awesome abilities depending on what units that you have equipped. Which, by the way, best thing to do for Dyke Beck in this case is to have him with the best that you have thus far, in this case being 17 and 18. So he's got his share of buffs and other nasty spells he can use. So that's obviously going to come into play soon enough. Whew. God, I love that blade. I love this high attack power. Okay, so after that, and you're giving the permission to pass. Make your way through this little maze and into the next room upward. And you'll come across what might be a room sort of similar to that of the one for the DC Shrine, only there's no narrow pathway. What? Or it's just that same gap, or it looks similar to it. So now you got to deal with these guys as well. See, the last one was an Earth Golem. This time you have a Flesh Golem, as well as some of these same robots. You know, it's slightly annoying. I still consider jump load to be a bit of a waste. It leaves them open. Pretty much. This is what I think. Now it looks like everybody's going after Dyke Beck now. Everybody hates this robot. Let's try to even the odds up a little bit. I'm so cheap with that. I mean, wow. I don't think anybody else can use this move. I could be wrong. I might be wrong. I think there's maybe one other character in the game that can learn this move from Mother Claire. I'd have to go back and double check just to be sure. If anyone else could use Weak Enemy, definitely get it. It's well worth it. It doesn't cost that much to cast. Like, the most you could probably spend is like, what, 16 MP? Pfft, that's nothing. Especially if the character has like a really high MP count. Getting shot at! There we go. That should cover everybody now. Let's see. Sorry if you can hear that. That's a train going by. It is out of my control. Just, you know, throwing that out there for you guys. Well, we got two of the three. CAM or CAM bots or whatever you call them. CAM 100s. 100 series. Ooh, Shinkuzen. Yeah, I haven't done that move in a while. Still just as effective. Now there's just this guy. I probably didn't even really need to do total healing, to be honest. But, it won't matter anyway. Damn it, I hate that when that happens. Like I said, even trying to hit them in the back, they still block your attacks. Mocking you all the way. Well, see if you can mock this. Ow! Oh god, that was on a 100! Level 100, I think it was 3? Monster. Toshu's like levels, what, 79, 80? Yeah. Anyways, this guy out of the way. Make your way up to this room, and this is where Dyke Beck will have to go at most of the rest by himself. So so choosing to submit to this trial. Now you start fighting alone. But don't worry, the least decency they had to do was try to make even things out somewhat for you. Doesn't mean it still wouldn't be irritating. If you have both those units on, those are the units 17, 18. Those are the abilities that you will have at your disposal for this. Your first encounter will be against a bunch of freezy slimes. Level 50 instead of being in the hundreds. So that's not too terribly bad. The only thing that's annoying is the fact that they know cold breath that lowers your agility and mesmerized breath that'll put you to sleep, like so. For a battle like this, what would be a good idea is, one, start things off with a happy beam. Yes, it costs a lot of MP to use, but you know, Dyke Beck has, with the units that you have put on him, he's got a lot to spend at his disposal. So you can get away with doing that quite a few times. But most of the time, what you're going to do is invincible is also a good idea, to where they will come to you and try to hack away at you. So basically, you're trying to get rid of them with mostly counterattacks. Now, another good idea is if you can get a bunch of them grouped together to which they're well within range. If you time it just right, you can get away with getting a good portion of them off your back using Divine Judgment. Since with these units, he's got a pretty high magical ability. So just bide your time and wait. It always pays to play it safe and let them come to you and start trying to hit you and just counter them. So you won't lose too much HP, because these battles you'll be doing, you will not get a chance to, you won't get a moment's rest to, use any items whatsoever, in between these battles, because it's back to back to back. So, conserve your MP and try to keep your health up as much as you can. But if you have to, that's why there's also, it's also a good idea to come well prepared for situations like this, and have some strengthened fruits at your disposal. Definitely have strengthened fruits, and possibly a few magic apples if you're able to spare it. And before you know it, the freezies are dead. So you automatically get teleported to the next room. And here you have, this time, a bunch of golems. Once again, they're in the 50s. So they still try to make it fair for you. Now, unlike the previous battle with the slime freezes, Happy Beam is still an alright idea to keep your abilities up, such as defense and attack and whatnot. But having Invincible going to and having to rely on counterattacks, kind of pointless in this one, because these guys use a stick, which means they could hit you indirectly from a certain square that's not adjacent to you, and therefore you would not be able to counterattack. So Invincible is pretty much pointless here. So what's a better idea is to try to see if you can lure these golems together. Even if it's two, even if it's lined up in two, that's still a good idea, and you can cast, Divine Judgment or Supernova. Actually, Divine Judgment is kind of better, because I feel it does more damage and it doesn't cost nearly as much to use as Supernova does. I think it's like 8 MP for a level 1 spell, whereas Supernova was like 10 or 12, something like that. But yeah, same deal here. Try to keep your magic up. Use as much as only when you have to. Keep your life up, definitely. I here managed to get somewhat lucky and land some pretty good hits using just his gun. And since you got all these squares here, to where they won't be able to really counterattack you if you hit them in front of one. That also helps. Heck, I think this is even without the happy beam in place. I'll admit, the robot's gotten a lot stronger. He's gotten some pretty good stats. So, just maybe after this, he might just become a pretty good ally to help you out throughout, maybe in certain other courses of the game. Maybe. Depends on what units you have on and what abilities he has. So this will be actually the final battle that you'll be doing for this trial. So you got a couple more golems, and you've also got a couple of other cyborg robots to deal with. Again, try to do the same method. Juice yourself up with Happy Beam and wait for them to come to you. Invincible is useful here, to where you can get them with counters. But since this is the last bit of the trial that Dyke Beck will be doing by himself, if you have any MP left to spare, or if you've been saving a lot of it, feel free to cut loose at this point. Go ahead and spam them with Divine Judgment if you want, since it does pretty well against these guys. I think these are Dark Elementals, so it'll be super effective on them. Let's see if this is the Golem's fire, I think. Maybe the fire or earth. Dark, one of the three. I can't remember. Not off the top of my head, anyway. Yeah, those guys like to hit a little bit hard. I still find this amusing how they're just lining themselves up for this. It's crazy. I'm sure he's going to have quite a bit of experience after this is all over to distribute to the others. I know I could just as easily cast, like, a higher level invincibility and let this last longer, but I just assume just keep it at one turn each. Since you can't really do anything anyway, you're just a big unbreakable tank that just can't attack, unless they hit you first. It's like that same deal I did with Oak earlier on in the game. Let's try a little bit of Supernova this time. I don't see that enough. Not too bad. Kind of wish it did a little bit more, since this is supposedly a more lethal spell. At least I thought it was. Than Divine Judgment, but I guess Divine Judgment will be the better one. Will you quit struggling? Just die already! Dyke Beck's actually struggling to stay up at this point. He took quite a beating, I'll say that. This isn't much of an easy trial for him. And now he's done. So you got pretty much most of the traps and battles here out of the way. I think we still have one left. So follow the pathway as they open up to you. Eventually you'll come across a staircase leading possibly within the very depths of these ruins, the very most bottom depths. Thankfully, they let you recover, because the next battle you're about to do is, yes, a boss fight for the final power unit. There's going to be a bit of a catch to this one. See, in the past, there really haven't been that many Guardians of power units, until now for this one. He kind of reminds me of that one other robot from God's Tower we had to do earlier on. Like, that guy was more lethal. Oh god, that guy played way too dirty. Trying to, like, keep everybody pulled down on gravity where they couldn't do anything and they just waste them. That's probably the difference between this guy and that guy. At least this guy is reasonable. He tries to play things fair. He likes a challenge. He doesn't play dirty. He's pretty much straight up, well, he's judgment. He judges. Now, getting back to the fight against him. The twist to this battle is, this is a battle that Dyke Beck cannot be a part of. Let me repeat that. He is not allowed to participate in this fight. So, you automatically do this fight with Ark and Elk, and 3 other people you decide to bring along to this fight. I decided to go in with a healer and some of my other best heavy hitters. Well, I was thinking about Tosh, but nah, I think Lance South Pup would get a chance. But Choco, definitely have Choco for this. So here we go. This is for the power unit. And already I'm messing him up. Ooh, that kind of smarts. Yep, level 118. Has a little over 400 hit points. Oh yeah, by the way, don't count on stuff like weak enemy working on this guy. He's immune to it. You're going to have to give him an old-fashioned beatdown. Which, that's really no problem, since he's clearly outnumbered 5-1 here. I mean, come on. If you've got a good party going for you, you should take this guy. He's really not that hard, to be honest. And the hard part was getting through Dyke Beck's trial of battles. And he wants to test... Judgment wants to test against his friends that are obviously, sorry to say, are obviously way, way better. That's kind of a dumb move. Because before you know it, look, he's already dead. That dude was loaded with money. And before you know it, the final power unit is in your possession. So, I will say to you now, this power unit, not only does it increase all the stats dramatically like usual, but since this increases it the most, and gives him pretty much all the kind of healing abilities you would expect, like Cure for one thing, Resurrection for another, Divide to be used against other enemies, which is cool. So think of it as like a healing unit. But anyways, yeah, feel free to test it out and compare and see which unit you like the best. Congratulations, you've earned this. Now, you got a badass Dyke Beck. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the excavation. Hope this guide helps you out, and stay tuned for the next video to come of this Arc-led 2 Let's Play. So until then, I am signing out, saying take care, and I'll see you next time.